Now, a lot of people say it's too soon for this. So, it,
There's a quote that he said in an interview that I think should irritate everyone.
welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squibscorner. I'm Jeremiah,
And I'm Andrew.
and man, it's been a month, if
For
not
us,
more, since we've
yeah.
recorded. Ooh,
It's been a little bit.
yeah,
Did
for
we
a bit
did we get an
rusty.
episode in after Thanksgiving? I can't remember.
I think we got
I
one
think we got
in.
one episode in
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving, but now it's January 2nd. So,
Yeah. So we're recording this January 2nd. So I just wanted to tell everybody, I know this is probably going to come out in March, but
yeah, who knows?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New
Hopefully
Year.
everybody had a great one.
Yeah.
I know I had a lot of fun. And for once, I don't remember ever thinking or saying this before. I'm glad for it all to be over. It was a lot. It was fun. It was
Sure.
great, but it was a lot. What about you?
Yeah. No, it was good. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. My wife and kids, my wife and three kids all have December birthdays.
Yes. Oh,
So
that's rough.
so yeah, luckily they're not stacked on top of each other, but yeah, we party hard in December.
yeah.
We also had the play the first 2 weeks of December.
Yeah, and you wound up getting sick too. So I got sick too, man. Oh, I
Oh,
was
I
sick. I was
lost
out for like a week.
I lost my voice, and it was my own fault. I don't eat a lot of sugar, like processed refined sugar.
Yeah.
But I kept having patients bringing me in,
Yep. There you go.
treats. So I like ate
Caramel
some,
brittle and everything.
and
Yeah.
then I've been for the last month and a half. I've tried to run at least a mile a day. So I had to
Oh,
do
there you
that
go.
after work. So I'd eaten all this sugar, and it was cold and rainy, but I had to get my mile in,
Yeah.
and I could feel like as I was running, I was like, oh man, this is not good. And so then went home and wrestled with my kids, and we're screaming and yelling. And I woke up the next day and I'm good. Like I get up and I go work out, and I've got my headphones in. I'm awake for like 2 hours before, and I get back home, I shower, I do everything. And my wife says, hey, did you go to the gym this morning? And I go to talk. And I'm like, yeah, I went to. Yeah, I went to. I'm like, oh my gosh! And so my voice was shot for a week, and I'm
Oh
in.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm feeling great. I'm like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was. So it was Friday, and I took most of Christmas week off. I had to go back in Friday, so I worked one day last week. I got home Friday. I was out for the count. I gave up. I realized I was getting sick. I thought maybe if I just get some rest. No, I was sick
yeah,
until like Saturday or Sunday recent.
dang,
So
yeah.
I'm just, at the tail end of this. And I was so excited, looking forward to having almost a week off. And bam, I'm out sick. My wife's sick. My son got sick. It's like, oh,
Ah,
wow. Go figure. I look forward to getting time off and I get sick.
that's the
Oh.
worst. That's the
All right.
worst.
So before we get into this, I had one question. So if, let's take the scenario that magic was real, which to us it's real.
I'm
But
interested. Yes, yes. Continue.
so if you had the opportunity or the ability to gain magical powers, what would be your first thoughts? Oh, magic would help me so much in everyday life, or it'd be so beneficial to have magic because, or would it be like, oh yeah, this would be fun, take my mind off of things, or would it be a little bit of all three? Because I think most people would jump to it's going to help me in life, but is that
Sure.
really the whole point of it? So curious to see what you would think about that.
Well, I think, I mean, number one, it would help, and
Yeah.
it's funny because when Hagrid talks to Harry about the Ministry of Magic, he's like, "There's a Ministry of Magic," and he goes, "Yeah, it's we don't tell the Muggles. It's to protect us You know, to keep us secrets from the Muggles, because if they knew we were magic, they'd be asking us for solutions.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
to magic everything. So, obviously, yeah, there were, there's it would definitely be beneficial. And I'll follow up your question. I don't know if you asked this, but I'll follow up your question. I think it'll be beneficial if you could have one magical power. What would it be and why? I know mine, and it's a very selfish thing. But I
Oh
want to see.
man, I think this is something we think about, like growing up, not really realizing that it's magic, like the ability to be invisible or see
Sure,
through walls,
yeah.
or so if we're talking in regards to Harry Potter, flying is kind of a gray area, I guess. If I had to have one,
Like flying would be cool. Flying would be
it would
cool.
be cool. It would be cool. Man, that's a tough one. I'll let you go while I think about that.
Mine is the ability to read minds. Mine would be the ability to hear thoughts.
I think that
And
would
it
drive me crazy.
well, and so it would be a not like, oh my gosh, I hear everybody's thoughts. It would be a I turn it on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the first time I remember being 12 or 13 years old, like it was a lawyer. My parents were watching some law show, and they're like, oh, they got to figure out if this guy is guilty or innocent. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great
Yeah.
if I could just read that guy's mind and be like, oh, he did it. I know exactly how he did it. I know when he did it. He did it.
Kind of like
He-
Legilimens.
this is what, yeah. So like, this is
Yeah.
where it's buried. But
Okay.
I know the flip side. Kind of the argument is that the argument to, being able to read people's minds is like, oh well, that's intrusive. It's invasive.
But yeah, that,
Can't
that
do
goes
that
off of one of the other books I frequently listen to. They say, oh, it is intrusive. It's an invasion of privacy, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have ADD, so I think the ability to be able to read people's minds would just drive me even more insane than I already am. So, I think, as stupid as this sounds, I think my magical ability would be to calm myself down whenever I needed to be calmed down. Like just you have that moment of understanding, like clarity to give myself
Sure.
clarity and be able to keep it as
Yes.
long as I need to or want to. So yeah, I think
Did you
that would
ever
be
did you
nice.
ever read or watch Limitless?
I've heard of it.
Bradley
I haven't.
Cooper did a great job in the movie, but he takes a pill that accesses parts of the brain because he's a writer. He's a struggling writer. He's got ADD,
Oh,
can't
okay.
focus, and all this stuff. And he takes this NZT, I think is what they call it. And
Yeah.
he's just like everything becomes quiet. He cleans his whole apartment.
Yeah,
He
I would
sits
love it.
down and write. Yeah, there you go. So
That would be
your
nice.
magical power would be limitless. I like it.
Yes.
like
All right. So if you guys haven't guessed, we're doing something a little different today. We're
Today's
not
a
going to
little
do a
different.
chapter review. We are doing a squibbler, but not just any squibbler. We're going to talk about the HBO series for Harry Potter. Now,
The untitled, the unnamed Harry Potter
yes,
series.
yes.
I have a few theories of what they'll call it.
I know, right? So we're going to try to keep this lighthearted in the beginning, and then we'll kind of like get into more controversial opinions towards the end, I think. But
Sure.
man, this is I want to say it's a highly anticipated yet extremely controversial thing that's going on right now, and we will definitely get into that. But so this is January 2025, so by the time this comes out there may be different information, but from what I know right now, this thing is scheduled to go for 10 years.
10 years, yeah. Seven
That's-
seasons.
Yeah, that's
Seven
insane.
seasons over a 10-year period.
10 years. Now, a lot of people say it's too soon for this. So it depends on the way you think about it. So the first book came out 28 years ago, But the last book came out 18 years ago. So if you're thinking about, okay, the last book came out 18 years ago, maybe it's too soon, but 18 years is still quite a bit of time. But if you think in terms of when it all began, 28 years ago, yeah, I think it's okay. I think we're in the good territory to, have a reboot. The first movie came out 24 years ago, but the last one came out 14. So it's the order you think about it when we talk about this. But so the first season is scheduled to be a movie that what would be a plethora of shows, kind of like a TV show. It's going to be
there'll be a TV show.
Yeah, eight shows, and it's about 8 hours.
Rumored either 8 or 10, but most of the stuff I read was 8.
Yeah, I think the first one is given
10,
8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got to think 8 hours for the first movie. What were we given? I probably should have looked this up, but we were given maybe an hour and a half for the original movie.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. So there is scheduled or rumored cast and crew that we have going on, and this is all.
And they just to go back to your timeline. It was originally it was supposed to come out in 2026.
Yes.
And now they've pushed it to 2027.
Oh, they have. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, they pushed it to 2027.
Oh, that's disappointing. I know they're scheduled to start filming this summer of 2025.
Yes, and in September of last year, because 2024 was last year, in September of last year in the UK, they did a casting announcement for 9 to 11-year-olds.
Yeah, there was about 32,000 people
I'm sure.
That's insane. That actually seems low. That number seems low to me, seeing what we're dealing with, the Harry Potter universe and how big it is.
One of the largest fandoms in the world.
Yeah, 32,000. Although it's a great number, it seems low to me.
Well, maybe that's just for Harry.
Well, it did say for children, so they're still the professors and background actors and
32,000 for Harry and maybe 30,000 for Ron and 30,000. You just never know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the rumored cast, and we're not going to trek on this too long because subject to change, and if you're saying it's going to come out in 2027, there's still plenty of time, which I'm sad to hear 2027, but also that means they're going to be putting more thought into this. And, the longer it takes to come out, although the wait sucks, I say the better, because you would think it's going to be that much better, so they're not rushing it.
Sure.
So Professor Dumbledore, we have Mark Strong, the Penguin, or Mark Strong, he's from, the Penguin, Dune, Prophecy. Then we have Mark Rylance from Bridge of Spies, Ready Player One. For Hagrid, which, big shoes to fill, we have Brett Goldstein. He's up for it.
I don't like that. I love Brett Goldstein.
Really?
I love Brett Goldstein. I do not like him for Hagrid.
See,
they also had rumored the guy that played Hodor in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Who's a big guy. He is a big guy. They had him rumored for Hagrid. I like that choice.
Yeah. It's.
But Brett Goldstein, he's probably like 5'6", not 5'6". He's maybe 6 foot and fit in shape. Like he's. I don't see that one now. I think
how
he
tall
can pull it off,
was? Oh my God, I forgot his name. Hagrid.
Say it. No, say it. Say it. I'll need you to dig deep. Limitless. Go limitless on me. I'll tell you. It starts with an R.
Let's see. No, I just keep thinking Rupert Grint, but it's not Rupert Grint. Robbie Coltrane. How tall was he?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he was a burly man. He wasn't a skinny guy. He was. He was a burly man.
So Professor McGonagall, Sharon Horgan from Bad Sisters and Housebroken, for Professor Snape, which seems to be that he's landed the role. I don't know. Papa Essiedu.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I've seen a little bit of his acting, but I don't like. Here's the funny part. So they obviously in the books he was white, in the movies he was white, Severus Snape, and now they've got a black guy. And I'm not a huge fan of switching, especially when somebody like Snape is the pale, hook nose, long,
I see
greasy
that point
haired
coming up a lot.
professor,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But here's the funny thing. So now again, they could do great. Like look at Hamilton, right? If you've ever
Oh
watched
yeah,
Hamilton,
yeah.
Hamilton is about four white founding fathers, all played by black guys, and it's I love it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when I think of a black guy playing Snape, I think of Andre 3000 from Outcast. How when he had his long straight hair, like if they had, so if they whom I met Andre 3000 at LAX
Oh,
one time. Yeah,
nice.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Oh,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I think about when I see the black guy that they've got, who again is a great actor.
Yeah.
Which on that point, he's 24. And what I love about the show
You're talking about
is
Papa, right?
yeah. The actor is 24, but Snape in the books is 31. So they are trying to get actors who are closer to the book ages.
Yes, yes.
Than because at the end of the filming, Alan Rickman was
Yeah, yeah. So
no longer in his 30s.
I want to keep this as positive as we can, but that being said, so the issue I have with the actors, I don't know any of these people. None. I think I've seen
Sure.
Papa because he did a movie with oh man, I'm just blanking.
How about you?
Melissa McCarthy?
You don't do names, okay?
Yeah, he did a movie with Melissa McCarthy, and I'm pretty sure I watched that. But other than that, I can go online and search up people or
Brett
you know,
Goldstein. Brett Goldstein was in Ted Lasso.
Yeah, see, I don't know any of these people. I don't watch a lot of TV.
Did you watch the Marvel films?
No.
Okay.
See, when I say I don't watch a lot of, I don't, and if I do, it's stuff I've already seen. Like we were gonna do a whole, we were gonna do a game where we pick actors that we think would be good playing the roles. But my actors,
yours were hilarious, bro.
yeah, my actors, Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart. I cannot picture these people. I mean, I can picture them in there, but I wouldn't be able to take the show seriously. I just couldn't
You
do
would
it.
get laughed out of the studio. They'd be like, Jeremiah, who do you like for Professor Dumbledore? I'm a huge Vince Vaughn fan.
Yeah, well, Freddie Highmore. If you put Freddie Highmore in that mix, I would be all over this Harry Potter suit, which I will be. We will be doing.
He would have to play a professor, though, at this point.
Oh, he could do it.
I think he could.
Brilliant
I
actor.
think
Oh, no,
he would do amazingly.
I'm hoping he goes out for this, but I'm not holding my breath. But
He is British, though, right? He is British.
Yes. So I did look up the definition to inclusivity because we did touch up on it a little bit. So it's the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. Now, I'm all for inclusivity, but I know people are quick. They are so quick to throw down that race card. And that has nothing to do with anything at all for me. Inclusivity for the sake of inclusivity, make it make sense. Put people wherever
Sure.
you want. I don't care who they are, what they look like, but make it make sense. You can't
Sure.
to
Well, and there's a-
change.
Yeah,
you know,
to change, and that's the thing where a lot of people, both black and white people that I've spoken to, all of the black people that I've spoken to, and on a lot of the comments, a lot of the black people are like, "Don't change Snape." Like, no, keep Snape the way
there
it
you
is.
go, yeah.
And so I think, and here's the thing. Here's what's funny. So like Disney's Percy Jackson. I don't know if you watched any of that.
Yeah, I like Percy
I read the
Jackson.
Percy Jackson books, and I watched the first movies. And the three main characters are white in the book and in the movie. One of my celebrity crushes is in that movie. Alexandra Daddario, hello. But anyway, but then it came out, and my kids had not read the movies, or I had not read the books, had not seen the old movies. And in there, the girl's black, and the kind of the sidekick guy, he's played by maybe an Indian or an Arab guy. I didn't watch it, and so they didn't care. They knew nothing about the book or the movie. So to them, it's brand new, and they're like, okay, yeah, she's black, and he's on. Oh yeah, and I mentioned like, okay, yeah, in the books they're not, and in the movies they're not. They just changed it for because it's Disney, and they
Yeah,
do
see,
follow the inclusivity.
I understand all of it. And for some shows, it might work. Shows that maybe aren't as popular as Harry Potter, or that have 7 or 8 different movies and all these books and all this lore for 30 years or 28 years. But when you have something as big as Harry Potter and the cast has been this and it's written in the books, and then you go change
Sure.
it, call it something different at that point. Don't call it Harry Potter. And that on that note, I'm real big on sequels having its original cast. So I understand how people are scared. Oh, no one can replace Snape. No one can replace Hagrid. That's
Sure.
true. But like I said, 28 years after the first book came out, it's going to be different. But this is supposed to be based off of the books. Now, I don't know if you
Sure.
found any information about what I asked about that. Did you?
About what?
So, most of the time, or I guess all the time, when you have a book that gets turned into a movie, there's parts taken out. It's made to fit
Okay.
a
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you texted me that earlier. So the reason that J.K. signed on for this was HBO or Max
Whatever it's called, or
is like
whatever it's going to be called.
we want to stay true to the books now. Which and J.K. said, look, there were a lot of things that were omitted or not explored
Too much,
because
right?
you have
Oh,
one 2 hour movie to portray
explain everything. Yeah.
a whole book, right? So that's exciting. And she has, I mean, she's signed on as an executive producer. She still retains all rights, right? So she
Yeah.
is going to be big. Now we do know that in Cursed Child, they cast a black lady to play Hermione. So the chances of there being a black Hermione in this, I think, are high because
Yeah.
it's already been explored. Now I think, and look, I turned 40 this year because we're in 2025. I think every generation hates the redo or the reboot. I think
Yes.
every
I'm
generation.
coming into this with an unusually open thought process to this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, you have to be, and it's
Open
like, look,
mind. Open mind.
yeah, I can get over the continuity, inclusivity for inclusivity, and it's one of those things. There's almost a dichotomy in it, right? Because J.K., you've got a white lady in the '90s writing about white kids in the UK, predominantly white area,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't have more diversity in there, which she did have some obviously, but not a lot.
See, that's the thing. Like, you can include diversity, but let it grow naturally. Like I was saying, if
Sure.
this was called something different and then you changed the cast like that, it would make perfect
Yeah.
sense. But for you to call it Harry Potter and then try to put the inclusivity and diversity in there, in the end, I don't care who plays what. As long as they do a good job, I don't care who it is. I'm going to
Well, and
watch it. I'm
that's
going to try to enjoy it the best of my ability.
yeah, that's what I'm excited about. They talk. One of the things that I kind of scratch my head over. Like, okay, I get the diversity, equity, inclusivity. You want more representation on screen. Cool, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
But then one of the things was like and Max is like, oh, we can explore Dumbledore's homosexuality more, and it's like, isn't this a show about him being at a school? Like,
Yeah, okay. So,
what are you doing there?
the thought of this series both excites and scares me. I was listening to something else, trying to, open my mind up a little bit more about it. And, there's a lot of places they can go. There's different ways they can expand. But I think they need to either, during this process, either keep everything hush hush or tell you exactly what's going on. Because right now,
Oh, they're gonna keep it hush hush.
well, right now, what we know is it's going to go by the books. And the reason why I, kind of asked you about that is because, as far as I know, I don't recall a movie or a series going directly off of a book. Influenced by a book, yes, but, from what I've heard, almost word for word or verbatim by the book, I don't recall that happening. So, unless I'm
Yeah.
wrong, this could be something historical happening right now.
I wouldn't hang my hat on that. That while they say they're going to be true to the books,
Yeah.
you just never know. Like my hopes, as far as the plot and actions of the show, are very low. Just
Yeah, I
because,
have no expectations.
yeah, just
I don't
because
want
as
to.
a
I don't want
as
to
a
put that out there
reader
for
as a
myself.
reader of the books, I didn't particularly enjoy the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed aspects and scenes of the movies, but I didn't necessarily enjoy what I'm really looking forward to.
Peeves, he's gonna be in it.
Peeves is going to be in it.
Yes.
What I'm looking forward to is because of and I don't think you've watched Game of Thrones.
No.
Game of Thrones was amazing, which what HBO did. Game of Thrones was absolutely amazing, especially when they stuck to the book. But after, I think there's only 5 or 6 books. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read Game of Thrones. The creators of the show kind of had their creative liberties.
Yeah.
And then it freaking sucked. So
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited for them to take the HBO budget
Oh,
to
it's
Harry
gonna be
Potter.
so much better. Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
it's going to be amazing.
Okay. That leads me into one of my questions. You've seen the movies, obviously. So the only issue, I mean, there's issues, but one of the big issues I have with the movie, and probably a lot of other people, is the lighting. The movies are very, very dark.
Sure.
So for this series, are you hoping that it's brighter? Because if you're bringing somebody else that's never seen Harry Potter, and it's just so dark throughout this, like at some points it's hard to see what's going on. Like
Well,
if you're in
yeah.
the theaters too, like it's harder to
Yeah.
see, and you're bringing somebody that's not a fan, trying to show them this, and like, oh, this is really dark. I never really noticed, and now I'm noticing. So I'm hoping that they lighten everything up.
Yeah, that'll be. I never really had that issue. Just knowing that, obviously, when things are more intense, just cinematography.
Yeah.
If something is scary, if something is intense, the
Seems to
dark,
be darker,
yeah, it seems to be darker. So I get that. They did that on Game of Thrones. Closer to the end, they had an amazing, what should have been an amazing battle where two of the dragons fight each other while there's riders, and it was the darkest scene. Everybody was like, "Wow, I bet it was really cool." I wouldn't know. I was watching it, but I wouldn't know. So I think they'll do a good job. I think they've got to have people who are screening things, being like, "That's a
Okay.
little dark. Let's lighten this up."
So with what you said, Game of Thrones, kind of like towards the end, it kind of started sucking. So that brings me to this: the executive producers, J.K. Rowling, Neil Blair, Ruth Kenley Letts, David Heyman, Mark Malloyd, and Francesca Gardner. Also, she is the showrunner. I think. Let's see. Okay. Andy Greenwald is involved in this as a writer. The thing with Andy Greenwald is he hasn't read all of the Harry Potter books.
Yeah, and there's a quote that he said in an interview that I think should irritate every Harry Potter fan. That he's like, no, I think we're going to have some creative liberties to be able to. And it's like, stop. Stop. We're not watching this to see what creative liberties you want to take. We, as Harry Potter fans, are watching this to see. It's like little things in the movies I hated. Like the boathouse. Voldemort meets Snape in the boathouse. And it's like, boathouse, why are we changing something so simple from the book? Like, it's just little things like that that's irritating too. And now I will say this too. I think to a casual Harry Potter fan, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Because they got the scene. They still did the scene. It was just a location that was different.
Well, that's what's so scary about this reboot is the hardcore fans out there like you and I and anybody else. It's scary. It's really scary going into this knowing, man, there's a lot of pressure. There's just a lot of pressure on them. And I know some of these writers, I've seen them quote that they're huge Harry Potter fans, which is great, I think. But throughout this process, I just hope that Warner Brothers or HBO, they have to be going online. They have to see what people are saying. And I hope that they realize the fans more or less know what's best for the series, and I just hope that they pay attention to when we start yelling, no, don't do that. I really hope that they listen. They are the ones in power, but like I said, what's best on paper isn't always how it actually works, or it's
it'll be interesting. And I think for the original Harry Potter generation, we have no problem not watching it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have no problem. Like, we have Daniel Radcliffe. We have Emma Watson. Like, I don't need anybody else. So if they really go off the rails, I think you'll have the, it's almost like the later Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
That totally is not in sync with the original hardcore fandom, right? The guys that were there from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they're not watching all this stuff on Disney Plus.
Oh no, it all evolves, and once you grow up with a cast, Daniel Rupert will always be Harry Potter.
Who?
I mean, Daniel Rupert.
Who now?
Ron Potter.
Yeah, that's not inclusion.
Daniel Radcliffe.
You just can't include two names with one character. That's not inclusion.
Daniel Radcliffe will always be our Harry Potter.
Sure.
He cannot be. He can be replicated, but he cannot be replaced. Yeah. And that brings me to another point.
Please. Maybe that's the point I was going to make.
A lot of the original cast doesn't want anything to do with this series, and some of them do. Like Tom Felton, he wants to be Lucius Malfoy.
Tom Felton's only credit is Harry Potter.
Yeah, but
his life in I'm not talking to you, Siri. Tom Felton seems to be the one actor that's truly milking his time from Harry Potter. Maybe
good.
Maybe more power to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of the original cast of Harry Potter in the reboot of Harry Potter as different characters.
Yeah, so Daniel Radcliffe, to that point, he says he's getting to I'm going to quote it. I'm getting to a point where I feel like I made it out of Harry Potter, and I'm really happy with where I am now. And to go back would be such a massive change in my life. I'm never going to say never, but the Star Wars guys had like 30, 40 years before they went back.
That's so true.
He's also said, he's passing the torch on to the new actors, and he's understanding that, they want basically a clean slate with the actors. And,
sure.
You got to feel sympathy for the original actors, because although Harry Potter got most of them their start, it's like Harry Potter is who they are, and they try to get away from it, and that's not all I've done. So I completely understand if they don't want to be part of it.
Yeah,
it sucks to hear, like it does, but they're human beings. They have their own life, and you got to respect it.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it. And they've kind of had some, I know the at least Daniel and Emma. I don't think they talked to J.K. Rowling at all.
No.
With some of the comments that she's made about
Yeah.
trans issues. So I think it's one of those, like, not only do I not want to get back into that, but Joe and I aren't on good terms anyway, so why even, like, we're done. Best of luck. And they've all said, look, I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope the
Yeah.
series is great. I think everyone, no, I can't say this. I know there are some trolls out there that are like, I want it to fail. I want it to be terrible
Right,
because
yeah, I know.
I've got my, there's always negative Nancy's. But it's like, while I'm not thrilled with a reboot this early on, like this soon
Yeah.
to it,
It's keeping the magic alive. It's keeping Harry Potter
yeah,
alive.
you're
It's
keeping the
just
magic alive. And here's what's disappointing to me. 2020, 2021, I can't remember what the date was, but it said that Warner Brothers approached HBO and they were talking about, Harry Potter stuff, like we should do a Harry Potter thing. It wasn't originally, when they did that, the plan wasn't to reboot the series. The plan was, like, they came up with several ideas, and one of them was to follow the Marauders through school
yeah.
and into the first Wizarding world. But not everything, they said that not everything was pitched to JK, because they then came to her and were like, hey, we want to do something Harry Potter. And it was almost like, okay, if we're going to do Harry Potter again, it needs to be in long form. And they're like, oh, yeah.
So there's a whole there's a lot to unpack there. There's so many different directions you can go with Harry Potter's beside the reboot. There's the Marauders. There's what happened in the years between Harry being dropped off at the Dursleys to okay, now we're introduced to Harry. What happened before all of that? I would like to see a movie about Lily and James. That would be great.
Yes.
And more to the fans of Harry Potter are hardcore, and I don't like to say it, but I feel like they're hard to please, little fragile, I would say.
Yes, every hardcore fan is hard to please.
Well, in this instance, ever since I've been involved with Harry Potter, I've heard they need to make the movies go by the book. Word for word by the book. If it happened, what if it's an 8-hour movie? I would sit down and watch it. Yes. Here we are in 2025. It's happening, and everybody's complaining. And I'm so upset about people complaining about what they wanted.
Sure.
You're getting what you want, and now you're complaining about it. I understand you're scared, but why turn why turn that into anger? I don't, or fear. I don't.
Yeah, I was disappointed when Fantastic Beasts was announced.
I was excited.
And they're like, oh, it's going to be in the United States. I'm like, what Harry Potter characters are going to be in there? To start out, none. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. And then later they're like, well, we're going to have a young Dumbledore and we're going to have a young
Jude Law.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Fantastic Beasts at all, right? So you don't know about Jude Law playing Dumbledore.
I know about it. I am abreast of all things Harry Potter.
So do you think Jude Law would be a good person to play Dumbledore in the series reboot?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal actor. Now, I do like Mark Strong.
Okay.
A lot. He's a very talented actor. I would love to see him.
And to the note of Fantastic Beasts, I think the downfall of Fantastic Beasts, honestly, was firing Johnny Depp. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think the series was going just fine, and then when they fired Johnny Depp and brought someone else on, you killed it before you know. Oh, he got such a bad rep. I followed that trial and everything. Ooh.
Well, and that's the thing. It's I remember when it first came out, and they're like, oh, Newt Scamander. Newt Scamander is in the Harry Potter universe, but he's not in the Harry Potter story. So
Yeah.
I'm not really invested in that. And then like, well, it's gonna be in the United States. Okay, now I'm even more not excited about that. Yeah, now they're gonna call non-magical people no match.
Nomad, yeah, I
And then I was
hated
like,
that.
I am out. I am
I
not gonna
hated
listen to
that.
a script where they say no match. But
Why would you change it?
obviously, yeah. I'm like, cool. If people watched it, great. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
never am I gonna be like, you idiots watched it. No, cool. People loved it.
I liked
Great.
it.
But if you want to give me, if you want to give me the Marauders, if you want to give me the first Wizarding War, if
Yeah.
you want to give
Oh, there's
me,
so
if you
much.
want to give me Peter Pettigrew being converted, right? Like if you those things, and I would love for them to fix several things.
Yes, yeah. Okay,
I would
so
love for them to fix several plot holes.
yeah, there's good and bads about this series reboot.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a lot more of the book, and I think all around it's gonna be better. Because you even had people complaining about how the trio didn't look how they sounded in the book. So I think no matter what, you're gonna have people complaining about they don't look how they were described. Okay,
Are you talking
it's
about the original trio?
yeah, I've heard people say that Hermione didn't look how she was described in the
Yeah,
books. And
her
same
hair
thing
wasn't
with,
bushy enough, and she was too pretty.
and her teeth were
And
not
I'm
as
like,
big as they were described. But
she
you
was
know,
amazing. She was amazing. Oh, yeah.
you can't please everybody. So,
No, no.
but there's so many. Although I am looking forward to this series, and we are going to be covering it.
We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch it.
we're
Yeah,
regardless if we like it or not, we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about
yeah.
it. But I can't tell you if this is the right or wrong way to start or to continue, keeping the magic alive. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more to cover. They're going to cover a lot more. Peeves is going to be there. I don't know about Spew, but I would imagine Spew would be in there.
SPEW,
Yeah, so
not spew.
there's going to be a lot more involvement from the book,
Yeah.
but they are taking. I've heard people say they're taking the safe route with this reboot because they can go the direction of the Marauders. They can go the direction of Lily and James Potter's story. And I'm wondering if this series reboot is going to lead into those types of movies being made. But will they be made during the reboot or after? Are we going to wait 10 more years to hear about the Marauders?
Well, see, here's what I would love. Here's what I would love. If they want to add flashbacks, right? Because you
Oh,
get a lot of
yeah.
flashbacks in
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
If JK is like, okay, you know this flashback here? In my head, this is how it goes. And they're like, you know what? Let's do 45 minutes of something that's not in the books, but JK in her head is like, cool. I'm in. I am so in.
Even so, like if you're going more off of the books, it's going to be a different movie.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The lines are
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be different. The way things are portrayed, the placement, it's going to be completely different. So, like I said, I'm going into it with an extremely open mind with no
Yeah,
expectations. I
yeah,
don't want to have
yeah.
any expectations for this at all, other than it's going to be called Harry Potter. Speaking of that, they changed the logo, and I'm not sure why they did that or if it was necessary. I guess maybe it's a reboot, it's a whole new cast, a whole new thing, but
Yeah,
they could have
yeah,
kept the same logo.
yeah. And the picture that I've seen of Hogwarts is different, but they are filming in the same studio that they filmed the movies.
Yeah,
So my hope is that a lot of the scenery
it's the same.
is the same. If they're if they change it, they change it because our hearts are already broken that they're
Well,
moving on
it
anyway,
would
so
be
they might
nice
as
to
well
have the
just
same scenery just for nostalgic purposes. Like, okay, this is familiar. Now I just got to get used to the new characters. But
sure.
I can see, okay, there's the Great Hall. There's this. Okay, yeah, I remember
I
that. So
would
that would
love
be
for them to
great.
keep that. Yeah, I would love for them to keep that
It would make
similar.
sense for them to change it. I think that's all up in the air. I haven't heard, really anything about it. So they're changing the logo. That's obvious. What do you, if they come into this and they don't have, opening Harry Potter and it's not Hedwig's theme? Thoughts?
I mean,
Oh,
I mean, it's I don't know.
I caught you off guard with this one.
Like
Let's open the wormhole.
well, here's the thing. It's almost like the music that we've got for the podcast. It's Harry Potter-ish,
Yeah.
right? It's Harry
Yeah.
Potter-ish.
Well,
As
copyright. I would use the Harry Potter music if we wouldn't get
yeah,
sued.
yeah, if we, yeah, yeah. We would open every episode with
Yes,
Hedwig's theme.
yes.
But I would love for them to keep it in the same vein. If they change it up and make it their own, I get it.
I get it, but it's like
get it.
ripping our hearts out.
It is. It is. It's we get used to it, but
It wouldn't feel the same. If you open up the series with Hedwig's theme, I'm in. I don't care what happens. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm oh, yeah, I'm
I'm
in.
yeah. I'm just excited for visually. Visually, I'm excited to see what they can do in the magical universe.
Oh, with today's CGI and effects and everything.
That's what I'm excited about. That's really the only reason that I would watch it.
Fantastic Beasts did a good job with the special effects.
I watched one scene, probably in the first one, maybe the second one. I don't know. I've not watched any of them all the way through. But there were a bunch of bricks being torn up by like cobblestone bricks and sides
Yeah.
by some magical creature, and it looked a little hokey. But obviously, I hadn't watched not hokey the house elf. But just yeah, I don't know. Never got into Fantastic Beasts, but I am mixed emotions about a Harry Potter reboot. I am excited to see what they do. I don't need for them to go all DEI on the main characters. I mean, it's a school of hundreds of kids. They don't all need to be white, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's why I said make it make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
There's all kinds of places you could put anybody.
Sure. Yeah. I'm cool with it. But even then, even still, I'll go into it with an open mind. Because really, it's the obviously things have changed since she wrote the books.
Oh
Social
yeah.
norms,
No,
social norms have changed.
times have changed. Yes.
Yeah, so I get it. But it's like you don't make Ron black and then his brother's Asian and then like now we've got they're all adopted. Don't go out of the way just to make sure you've got because at some point it
Like I
you
said,
kinda-
at that point, you need to call the movie something different.
well, you lose common sense. It's like did you watch the movie?
You lose continuity as well.
See that I love continuity, but did you watch the show Shogun?
Would you be surprised if I said no?
No. Shogun. It's off of Shogun was a very popular book. Shogun takes place in feudal Japan. So we're talking maybe 1600s. I can't remember. Maybe 1400s, but I can't remember. And so it's a ship from Europe full of white guys crash land in Japan. And so the show is a bunch of Asian actors and a couple of white actors. They almost weren't allowed to be nominated for Emmys because of lack of inclusivity.
That's dumb.
And it's a show that takes place in 1400s Japan.
I'm sorry, but I'm all for inclusivity. I don't
Oh,
care who
obviously,
plays
yeah.
what, but make it make
Yeah.
sense. It just has to make sense. You can't. There's a lot of people upset about all the Disney reboots. Just make something new and then change it from there. Make it your own from there. Don't change what's already been done. Just
Yeah, and I'm cool. Yeah, no, that was somebody was telling me about that the other day. They're like, Disney was better at diversity when they weren't trying to. And I was
yeah.
like, what do you mean? And he's like, did you watch Pocahontas? Yeah. Did you like it? Loved it. Did you watch Princess and the Frog? Yeah. Did you like it? Yeah. Loved it. Did you watch Moana? Yeah. Loved it. And so
Yeah,
they started,
yeah.
they started doing all this stuff. It's like, yeah. But
Yeah, I love
now,
those.
now,
Moana's one of my favorites.
I love Moana.
Yeah.
Number one, I love Moana. I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, who had a big part in that. A lot of the Polynesians did not like Maui because legendary Maui, he's like a young boy, a young skinny boy.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't like that, and they also didn't like the coconuts. They're like, you mention coconuts all the time. Like, we really don't do coconuts very much. Anyway,
Yeah.
but not to change the subject, but Moana 2 is getting a lot of backlash because they didn't bring Lin-Manuel Miranda back, and people have listened to the songs, and they're like, these songs are terrible compared to the first one.
Huh.
So we'll have to see. I'm going to watch it. I loved Moana.
I'm
I
gonna
thought.
watch it. I'll watch Moana while I'm working out. I also watch the Aladdin remake, the movie. A lot of people complain about it. I love it. I love Aladdin. It's one of my favorites growing up.
I enjoyed Aladdin.
And they changed Aladdin, but it made sense. I mean, the genie is a fictitious thing anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem. I love Will Smith before he started slapping people, but still love him. Like, you shouldn't slap people, but I still love him.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the live action remakes.
Man, I was a fan of the Aladdin. Like, it did it for me. I'll watch that in the gym too.
Here's the thing. Again, my generation. You can't replace Robin Williams.
No.
And so that was hard for me.
Yeah.
My generation.
Yeah.
Did my kids love the live action? Yes. And I enjoyed it. I thought the music was great. That they had some original songs in there. Speechless by Jasmine was a great song. So and again, that's one of those things. It's like you're talking about. You're not going to please everybody. Like as we're this podcast, you're going to have people upset that we're
what we talk about during this episode.
That we have the. So I mean, it is what and again, whatever they do, obviously they have the right to do it because they're the ones that are in control. So they can do it. I'll watch. If I don't like it, I won't watch it. If I do like it, I'm in for the 10-year ride. I'm
here. I'm here. I'm hoping that it starts, and no matter how it does, I hope they finish it. So
they will.
You started talking about live action. I have two more questions, and I'll see if you have any questions for me. So, if they did this reboot but made it animated, how would you feel about that? Because there's ways to go about animation to make it look real.
Wow.
And there's ways to go with animation to make it kind of look like you're goofing on it.
So here's my question.
Would it take away the seriousness of Harry Potter?
No. Yes and no. But I'm trying to think. If it was animated, I'll follow up question. What style of animation would you hope for it to be? Because in my head, I've got a good one.
See, like I said, there's serious ways to go with animation. Yeah. There is animation that looks like an animated movie. Like they took the movie and animated the movie. Yeah. So I would like it to go that direction. But if you're going to make it like, a Disney type thing, I wouldn't want to see it go in a Disney direction.
But did you ever see Big Hero 6?
Yes.
If you did it, because
I think that's the kind of animation I'm talking about, that it looks kind of realistic.
And see that it's a Pixar movie.
Yeah, at
or
Pixar. I like
Disney
Pixar.
Pixar. Yeah. So it's Pixar, and it was very, there was some dark stuff in that movie. There were deaths in that movie. There were, anyway. But if you did it like that, but you would have to do it serious. You can't do it as like
No, exactly,
oh,
exactly.
we're making this. No, so I don't want them to do it. I don't want them to do it animated.
Well, the
It would
thing
be
with the
cool to
animation,
see. It would be cool to see what they did.
there's all kinds of voice actors out there. So even if the original cast didn't do the voiceovers, there's plenty of people out there that would make you think you're listening to the original voice actors.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But really,
Yeah.
you're just pandering to the original
Okay,
generation.
pandering. Do you want this new reboot to pander to children or adults?
Oh my gosh! Obviously, I want it to be very adult.
Yes.
Not like R rated. I don't need sex scenes or anything in
No.
Harry Potter. But the tone, this is a war. This is a war movie. This is
Yeah.
a story of war.
That's a good way to think about it.
I mean, when you look at Harry Potter,
I've never thought of it that way.
he is an orphan of war.
Yeah. Wow.
He is an orphan of war, and he is. It's like, did you ever read or watch Ender's Game?
I'm gonna let you answer that for me.
Son of a, you are today you are the worst. You are voted the worst co-host because I'm trying to like. So Ender's Game.
When I say I don't watch TV,
Ender's Game is a war movie. It was a book originally. Orson Scott Card. Is it Orson Scott Card? Yeah, I believe so.
here's what you need to do, and I'm talking serious. Write down a list of things you think I need to watch, and I'll watch them.
Then watch Ender's Game.
You're
So
gonna have
it's
to
very
write
similar.
it down because telling me
Is-
something means nothing
Okay,
to me.
okay, I'll write it down. Ender's Game. Ender was 9 when the Earth is at war with an alien race, and he is he basically goes to battle school, right? To learn.
I think I might know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, the remake was good. Again, they omitted a lot of stuff. That would be a great HBO long form. Give me 10 episodes of Ender's Game. But Harrison Ford was in it. Viola Davis was in it. Kingsley, Ben Kingsley, is that his name? Anyway, I can't remember his name. Anyway, so I mean, it had a great cast, but Harry Potter, the kernel of the story is Harry is an orphan of war, and he is being raised because the war, even Dumbledore, he is being raised and being prepared for the next chapter of that war.
Wow.
That is if you really boil it down.
Yeah. No.
And so Hogwarts, while it's a school for witches and wizards, Dumbledore knows what Harry's fate is, and so that's one of those things. So it is a serious undertone, and she does some things in the first couple books. The put outer and Snape calling people dunderheads and all this stuff. It's like, oh, if you'll just give me a serious tone throughout the whole thing while implementing Quidditch and the Yule Ball and the all the things that are at school, we can do those things, but you can almost do it on because I remember me at 12. I was a serious athlete. All of that joking around, yeah, we laugh and stuff, but when it came to me learning the thing that I wanted to be good at, I didn't joke around about it. So one of the things that I dislike about the books is that Harry has an absolute garbage life, gets to go on scholarship to this wizarding school where his life is saved, and then he just becomes a slacker student. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Let's go after it.
It being a children's series, I can't get my kid to watch it. I don't know about your kids, but my kid, nope, no.
Yeah, my 13-year-old and 10-year-old, they've watched all of them. They loved them. They
Really?
loved it.
I
But
can't.
but here's the thing. They also and it's fun now. So they watched the movies. They've finished the series, and now that we're reading the series, they get this all the time. They're like, "Why didn't they put that in the movie?"
Oh, that's great.
All the time.
Yeah.
Why didn't
Oh,
they?
that's
Why
great.
didn't they put that in the movie? They should have put that in the movie. And it's like, fingers crossed for you.
See, the fact that they're saying that means that they really paid attention to the movies, and that's exciting too.
Oh yeah, they
That's
were into him. They
I'm
were into him.
really so one of the things with this reboot is I am looking forward to sitting down with my family together. We can make a meal of it. I, I don't know what the schedule is. One episode a week, one episode a month. I don't know.
I
But
feel like
to
it's
just sit,
their Sunday night. I think it's going to be one of their Sunday night.
yeah,
That's
but
when
to
they
just sit
do
there as a
like.
family and watch Harry Potter brand new. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah, it's history. I mean, it's yeah. You've taken one of the biggest. I mean, it's almost like is this the only? Is this like of the serious fandoms? This is going to be the first pure reboot. Star Wars didn't reboot.
like I said,
They
I'm
did.
scared. I'm
They
scared.
did
I'm
sequels.
excited and I'm
Lord
scared.
of the Rings. They did their films, but their films were so good,
So okay,
so
one more
good.
question.
I'm in.
Merchandise. Do you think? Well, I guess it's kind of a no-brainer, but do you think they're going to come out with merchandise for this new series, like new wands, new wand lines,
Absolutely,
new this and that?
absolutely, because this is also a business.
Yeah. I'm on the
This
fence
is
if
this
I'm
is
going to
also a
buy that
business.
stuff or if I just want to stick to the original Harry Potter. But then at the same time, I do think this series reboot will make the original Harry Potter merchandise prices go up.
Well, and I think, I don't know now that you have a reboot, and depending on the success of the reboot, when do they stop making the original?
I hope they
When?
don't, because they're still coming out with stuff from the original series.
Well, I mean
So
that's the thing. If you go to the wizarding world of Harry Potter, that's
yeah.
all generational first film series.
As a collector and as a Harry Potter fan, it's
Yeah.
scary on more than one level for me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting on how all that plays out.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm curious to see our listeners like, what are your guys' thoughts on this reboot? You guys, you can go ahead and send us voice memos. You can record a voice memo
yeah,
and email it to us at squibscorner at
yeah.
gmail.com, or you can go over to our Instagram, squibscorner, and try to send us a voice memo that way. But I'm really curious to see what everybody's opinion is. If you want to be on the show and talk about it, that's great. I think the more we talk about the reboot, the better. I think hype it up, hype it up. Like I said, no expectations. Please
Yeah.
don't come into this with any expectations,
Yeah.
because I don't want anybody to be let down by it with high expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you
Then
have?
let me do this. I'm going to leave you with one final thought.
There we go.
I think ultimately it's way too soon for a reboot. I think it's
I
way
can
too
see because
soon.
it's still popular,
Yes.
with the Universal Studios and the merchandise, and
Yes.
it's still very like. That's the other thing that's scary. Like, if they don't reboot it, just the thought of Harry Potter going away one day, that's scary also.
It's not. It won't.
Yeah.
It's still. I mean, you got me. I've got 5 new Harry Potter books at home, illustrated versions, and I'm waiting for
Yeah.
the 6th and the 7th to come out. Like it's.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not going away.
Yeah. Sorry, I
It's
didn't mean
not
to cut
going
you
away.
off. What was
No, no, no,
your.
no, no. I am optimistic. No, no, no. I hope that it's great.
Yes.
I don't expect it to be, but I hope that it's great. But I think that we're about 15 or 20 years too soon
It's
for a reboot.
definitely scary. I don't think there's an in between. It's either going to be great or it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think there's. It's okay. I don't think that's an option with this. They yes, they've taken the easy route with doing the reboot, but also by taking the easy route, they could be backing themselves into a corner just because it sounds easy.
Well,
Actually, it does not sound easy to me. There's a lot to fill. Oh my god, the expectations for that most people are going to have.
but that's also when you're taking a book. Here's what would frustrate me. If we're getting 8 hours of because it's only 7 seasons, so one season per book. If you're giving me 8 1-hour episodes for book one and 8 1-hour episodes for book four, you're doing it wrong.
I'm pretty sure
Because it's like
10
twice
years.
as long. It's like twice as
Yeah.
long.
But it's going to be 10 years, so I'm pretty sure as the books progress, the seasons will get longer.
That's my hope. That's my hope. Because it's not like, with streaming services now, you're not bound to the normal television.
I wish it would be on television. Ugh.
Well, if you have HBO, you'll be able to watch it.
Well, I'm hoping that it goes like it did when we grew up. There's a show this week. There's one next week. Maybe there's not another
That's
one
how it
for
is.
3 weeks. Yeah,
That's
I'm
how
hoping
it'll be.
that's. I'm hoping.
So HBO does one a week.
That's my expectations for
Yeah.
this show.
Yeah, they do one a week.
Because then it gives you anticipation for the next episode. It makes you want to watch it, and I do not want to sit there and binge all of them. Like even the new series that came out with like that 90s show, that 70s show spinoff. My girlfriend would try to, let's watch this one. Oh, let's watch the next one. Let's watch it. No, wait till next week. I don't want to rush through this. I want to take my time and let it,
Yeah, I will binge if a show. See, I can't start shows. Like people are like, oh my gosh, have you ever watched The Walking Dead? No, you should go watch them. No. Do you know why? Because it'll be 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I can get, I don't have patience till 8 o'clock. I can, if I do one more show, then I can fall asleep at 3:30 and wake up at 7:30. No, I can't do it. So yeah,
Okay, before we leave,
show a week.
So we just had New Year's. What time did you go to sleep on New Year's?
Maybe 11:20. Maybe. So you got to realize December 31st is my son's birthday.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of things. We had a New Year's Eve awards thing at the theater, which I won an award.
Nice, congratulations. There
It's
you
a
go.
small community theater. But
still.
still nice.
Yeah.
Still nice.
Yeah.
So we did that till about 8:30. Then he had friends spend the night and fireworks and all that stuff. So they knew that we were like.
Yeah, we can't do fireworks out here. It's illegal.
So North Carolina is illegal as well. If you go to the right parts, I live in the mountains, so there's, you can go away and people are doing it. But we got them like from the grocery store, the things you set on the ground. They're big glorified.
Yeah. There's
sparklers.
certain ones you can do. Yeah.
And they had a good time.
Yeah.
They had a good
Yeah,
time.
I was up by 10. My son woke up the next day and said, I think I made it to midnight. He said, they didn't drop the ball, though. They just did a lot of this and that. I said, well, you were watching the Dick Clark show, so they dropped the ball at 10 o'clock because they're 2 hours ahead. He's, what? Really? So, yeah, they dropped the ball at 10. So you would have had to have watched something else.
Yeah, I'm Eastern.
I mean, I
Standard.
could be wrong. I was asleep at 10, so I was like, I'm over this. The last time I cared about New Year's was in the year 2000 when all the computers were going to crash. When they didn't
right.
crash, I was like, I'm over this. Like I said, no expectations for this series. I know it sounds stupid to say, but I just don't want to disappoint myself. The only expectation I guess I have is that it doesn't all come out at once. I don't want them to just, here's the whole first season.
They don't do that.
But it's exciting. It's scary. It's frustrating. I try not to pay too much attention to it because it is frustrating, the negativity going towards this series, being that everybody And I mean, everybody wanted this. And this is here. And now everybody hates it. And I don't. People
Because it's
love to
not with the
complain.
people. It's not with the people that we want it with.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was like with Fantastic Beasts. Oh, well, that's oh, no, it's called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him, not Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Harry Potter. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
different. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, new cast. Like I said, I'm the one. If you're gonna do a sequel, you got to have the original cast. But like I said, open mind. I'm gonna try to go into this with an open mind. No matter what, I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I'm gonna watch every episode. I'm
Yeah.
gonna break it down. We're going to come in with the negatives. We're going to come in with the greats. And hopefully there's more greats than negatives when we start covering it.
Yeah.
But either way, it'll get covered. And, man, do you think we're going to be here 10 years later talking about the series reboot?
Hey, man, I'm not going to count anything out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. We'd let this thing grow. Let it morph into
we
whatever
have
it's
to.
going to morph into.
I'm excited to be part of something new, like the Harry Potter reboot. Like that's something new that we can cover as it's happening, and that's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, and if they're filming this year, it'll be exciting once they confirm.
Yeah, then we could really dig into the rumors and try to find out what's going on.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the everybody's going to want to be in it. Except for the original cast.
Yeah.
This is a career maker.
I was gonna ask which I already know the answer, because obviously you're not going out for any part of it. Did it cross your mind that hey, maybe I should go throw my hat in that game?
No, it's filming in the UK. I disagree with a lot of what the United Kingdom does, so I wouldn't be a good fit over there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I want to hear everybody's thoughts about the Harry Potter series reboot. So like we said, leave us a voice memo, squibscorner@gmail.com, or try us out on Instagram at Squibscorner. And we also have a YouTube channel, Squibscorner.
That's right.
Yes, and
That's right.
we are filming or taping or whatever you want to call it way in advance. Like we said, it's January 2nd right now. This will probably come out in March. Our podcast is finally dropping in 5 days on the 7th, which I started thinking about today and I went, what a day for me to decide to drop the first couple episodes, the 7th. 7.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not, and if it's not this, if it's the 8th, I'm going to change it to the 7th, so it will be dropping on the 7th. I just thought I was like, what a coincidence!
I love it.
Wow. So we'll see you all next time. And Andrew, go ahead and sign us out.
Hold on, I got a thing. I
forgot to quote. That's why I called on you.
Well, no, I'm trying to think. We've got to.
Got to get something that fits the reboot, huh?
Well, I'm trying to see. Okay, so I don't have a quote.
It does not do. I think it does not do to dwell.
Is any of this real?
Yeah, there we go. That's one of my favorite quotes too.
Or is it all happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry.
Well, why would that make it any less real?
That's great.
Okay, so next episode we're back. We're back with chapter reviews. We're going to be in chapter 12, The Mirror of Erised.
Oh yes.
In book 1, The Philosopher's or Sorcerer's Stone. And we'll see you next time.
Go ahead. Say the quote. Say it. Yeah.
We just said the quote.
Well,
Sir, is any of this real, or is it just happening inside of my head? Of course it's happening inside of your head, Harry. But why would that make it any less real? Squibscorner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobaugh and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham, myself. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review. To inquire about being a guest, or if you have questions, comments, or just want to give us your Harry Potter story, email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow Jeremiah's YouTube, Accio Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibscorner Podcast.